Now this is something I say all the time. You have to set your limit, your maximum bid, before you go to auction. So how do you do this? Well, first of all, you need to forget all the other buyers and forget about the vendor just for a moment. This is about you and the property and how uniquely this property suits your needs and how much you want to buy it. Now, there are 5 questions you need to ask yourself, and you can't rely on the answer of any one of those 5 questions. You need to consider the whole lot. Okay, these are those questions. 1, how much do you want it? 2, how much does this property suit your needs? 3, how good is this property? Not just in terms of how it suits your needs, but generally in the marketplace. How popular is it? 4, how much is this property worth compared to others in the area? And this is where it's crucial that you have done your pricing research. And 5, absolutely very important question, how much can you actually afford? Now, as I said before, no one answer should dictate your maximum bid. You need to consider all 5 questions. Now, let me give you some examples. If you only consider how much you want this property or how much you can afford, you really do run a risk of paying far too much money for it. I've seen people go to auction and they've set their limit at their budget with no real regard as to whether the property is actually worth that or not. On the other hand, if you only focus on what that property is worth in the context of the rest of the market, but it really suits your needs in a way that is very unique, then you could miss out by not being prepared to pay a premium because it suits you so well. And if you focus too much on what other buyers may or may not do, you run the risk of buying the property purely because you can, because you want to win, not because you really want it or not because you really wanted to pay that price. A helpful way to think about this is that if you woke up the next day after the auction and you bought it, at what price would you say, I am really happy with that, versus I feel sick, I paid too much? You really do not want buyer's remorse the next day. Another way of looking at that is if you wake up the next day after the auction and you didn't buy it and you think, I really should have paid that. Or do you think, I'm relieved that other buyer paid way too much? So by being really clear on what your maximum bid is going to be before you go to auction, you are less likely to be unconsciously drawn into competition. People get into competition at auction all the time and the odds are against you, so be very careful.